Hello and welcome to the 144th episode of Fur, Fins, and Feathers. Our guest today is Deborah Ahern-Ridlon from Carver, Massachusetts, a very accomplished breeder of champion Rhodesian Ridgebacks. Welcome.
Thank you.
We finally got you on. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
Tell us about your breed.
Oh, well, this is one of my puppies. This is Odin. He is 16 months old, and he just became a grand champion this weekend. And this breed is the Rhodesian Ridgeback. They were originally bred to protect villages and farms, and they were later taken out on they're from South Africa, by the way, and they were later taken out on safari and proved to be fantastic hunting dogs. They would run with the hunters on horseback and go out ahead of them and bay lions for the hunter. And so they became famous as lion hunting dogs. Today they're mainly used in Africa. They're used as guard dogs in the diamond mines. But here they're mostly house dogs.
Companions, family companions.
Companions. They are used on farms. I went to South America and we went on a horseback riding trip, and there were about 10 of them with us, just running with the horses. So they sort of were in their natural environment in a way when we did that trip. So that is
How did you become
history.
interested in the Rhodesian Ridgeback?
Well, I had other breeds previously, and I needed a dog that fit my lifestyle better and what my aims were. And so I wrote down everything I wanted in a dog. For example, I wanted a dog that liked to walk and run and, was athletic. I liked a protective dog so that I could, because I like to hike, and I wanted something that I felt I would be safe with. And I wanted a short-haired dog. I wanted a clean dog. Sort of those kinds of attributes. I bought a book, and the book was put out by AKC, and it had all the current standards of the time. Just so you know that the written standards for each breed change over time. So at the time,
I grew up with that book as a Bible.
Exactly. So you understand.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I read the book and looked at all the different standards, and I found that this particular hound fit the bill in every way. And that was 25 years ago now. And I've never looked back, and I've never looked for another breed. So maybe when I'm too old to hold these guys, I'll switch to something a little smaller, but I'm sure it will still be a hound.
You have done remarkably well.
Thank you.
As a breeder.
Thank you very much.
And you show beautifully
Thank you.
in the ring.
Thank you. I am a preservation breeder. I don't breed to sell puppies. I don't have a litter every spring and every fall or even once a year. I breed to make the breed better. For example, his mother is lovely. She's a gorgeous dog. And I couldn't find a male around here that I wanted for her. So I met a California breeder and fell in love with their dog when their dog was visiting in Springfield, Mass. And so I went to Florida. I met her in Florida at the AKC National, and we did the breeding and produced this guy here. So he is better than his mother, which is hard for me to admit because I thought his mother was perfect. but he's actually better than his mother. So as a preservation breeder, I really feel that I hit the nail on the head, because he will be used as a stud dog. And so any female that he breeds to will bring better, hopefully, than what the female is.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that's my goal.
In his litter, how many, did any become champions?
He did.
He did.
He's the only one that was in his litter.
Oh, a singleton.
He was a singleton, and I hit the nail on the head
But
with
you
that.
you did.
Yeah, he's really a beautiful dog.
Now, you are very active in many clubs.
I am.
Tell us about the club work.
Oh, God, the club work never ends. It's a labor of love, for sure. So I'm very active in Hockomock Kennel Club. I'm past president. This year I am first vice president. I'm not sure this year if I will be show chair or not. That's coming up at the next meeting. I'm also a member of Wampanoag Kennel Club, which I have not been as active in because, unfortunately, our meetings are the same time as Hockomock's meetings. So as a board officer, I have to go to Hockomock's meetings. So there's a little conflict there, but anyway, I do as much as I can for Wampanoag. I'm also a member of the New England Rhodesian Ridgeback Club, and I am a member of the National Club, which is the Rhodesian Ridgeback Club of the United States.
And you get to go to shows all over the country with the Rhodesians.
That's right. I'm going to New York on Wednesday to compete in Carmel. 6 shows in 4 days. And then I come home and we have some local shows, and then it's off to Ocala for the Rhodesian Ridgeback National Specialty.
In Florida, yes.
Right, and then I'll come home, and I haven't decided on the National Dog Show yet. That's in Philadelphia on Thanksgiving. That's a televised show. And then after that, I go back to Florida for the AKC National, and that's at Christmas time. So it's a lot of back and forth, and
A lot of traveling.
Yeah, at this point in the year, this is the busiest time. Like from September to December is really busy.
What advice would you give to someone who might be interested in
a Rhodesian?
Not only in a Rhodesian, but in
dog?
showing dogs, or even buying a purebred dog.
Okay, so there's a lot involved in buying a purebred dog, because every breed has a national club and should have a breeder's list. If you're interested in a purebred dog, you need to research that and talk to the breeders. If you have dog shows near you, you should definitely go to the dog shows. Introduce yourself to breeders of a breed that you may be interested in. And because when you buy a dog from a breeder, if it's a reputable breeder, you buy the breeder also, because you have that breeder for the dog's entire life. For example, I'm getting back a 9-year-old. So the gentleman has had the dog for 9 years, is moving far away, and can't take the dog with him. So the dog is coming back to me to be rehomed. So, reputable breeders don't just trust their dogs, their puppies, to be just rehomed willy-nilly. It's not part of the, it's not what we do. So I will vet a new homes until I find the right home for that 9-year-old. And if I don't, he'll just become part of my family again.
Which is what a reputable breeder should do.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to be responsible for what you bring into the world. And, bringing in bringing in a litter every 6 months, you can't do that. You'd be overwhelmed, you know. You'd be just overrun. But yeah, this is the way I do it anyway.
So how do you train a Ridgeback?
Well, I start when they're just able to walk. I have what's called a stacking box and a grooming table. And the dog goes, I put the stacking box on top of the grooming table, and I lift the dog up, and I put the dog on the grooming table and stand it exactly as I would in the show ring. So from the time the puppy is just learning to stand, it learns the proper stance. And you build what's called muscle memory. So the dog just naturally gets into that position. This guy, I just have to tell him stand, and he stands there. So
he is a handsome fella.
He is. That's the beginning of training, and in my opinion, the most essential part of training is to start them then when they're really young. Do it every day. It only takes 5 minutes, not even. So I start them off on the table with a yogurt in a little tiny cup, and I just put it on their nose. So they stand there and they lick the cup and they stay in the position. Because the way the stacking box works is it's a square box, and it's got 2 pieces of wood that are elevated off the bottom of the box. So when you put their feet on it, there's no other place for their foot to go. So they stay there, and they learn that that's the right place to be. And then once they get that down, you know, you have to leash train them, not to pull. So that's just repetition. Leash training is very easy if you do it when they're young and you do it right. Leash training is nothing more than having the dog in the right position, which is on your left-hand side, and when the dog pulls, you stop. That's how you leash train. And when they stop pulling, you take a step. And if they start pulling again, you stop.
What are some of the activities a Ridgeback can do?
Oh, well, this one loves to lure course. And Pearl, his mother, actually, I took her. So there's 2 lure coursing is they chase a lure. It's actually a plastic bag on a string pulled by a pulley. And it's either around a big field, like 900 yards or so, or they can do fast cat, which is a 100-yard dash.
Something new, a new
It's a straight
sport.
It is a newer sport, and it's a straight run. And I'm proud to announce that we went to South Dakota, not last year, but the year before, Pearl and I, his mother, and she beat 105 dogs. And she was the fastest dog at the national specialty in fast cat. And he ran for the first time fast cat a couple of weeks ago. His score was nowhere near hers, but he did very well for his first attempt at fast cat. So that's one.
So the Ridgeback is a versatile breed.
Very versatile, yeah. Yep. They do not catch. So you can throw a ball and they'll run after it, but they will never bring it up and pick it up and bring it back to you. They'll pick it up and bring it away from you. They like to be chased. They're very prey-driven. So letting them off leash, you have to make sure that they have a really good recall before you take them off leash. I recommend anybody who has any kind of breed dog, take it to training classes, to obedience puppy classes, and follow up with more advanced training depending on what you want to do. Agility is a great sport, and these guys love it. They love agility. They love anything that's a challenge for them, unless they're a really shy one. And
they like to think.
These guys are independent thinkers big time. Big time. If they can figure out, that's one of the things about lure coursing when you do the field. You can't take them on the same track too many times because they know. If they do it for a whole weekend, by the second day, they're cutting off the corners to get to the lure quicker. So they cheat, and then you lose points. So you're right, they are. They're very, very intelligent dogs.
What are some other breeds you've worked with?
I
know you've owned other breeds, but
yeah.
that you've worked with.
Well, right now I'm working with a very young Afghan hound, and I'm also working with a retired veteran Borzoi, which I will be showing in New York next week. And I will also...
So you have a great love for hounds.
I do love the hounds. I do. I would show other breeds. I haven't really been asked to show too many other breeds by people, mostly hound people, because those are the people that know me. You know, like in the hound group, they see you in the group. They think, oh, you know.
What advice would you give to juniors?
Oh, do it. That's what advice I would give. Do it, because it's a wonderful sport. There's so many things you can learn from a dog. It's amazing how you can learn humility, patience. There's, you know, and for kids, the connection with the animal is key. You learn how to interact with adults too if you're a junior, because you're trained by adults all the time. You know, different adults with different breeds teaching you different methods. So you have to learn patience and understanding as a junior. I think it's fantastic, really fantastic.
You know, sadly, and we must be positive, and I'm trying to always be positive with the juniors. I remember when I first started judging, we would get 56, I've had upwards to 75 kids in junior showmanship. I judged at Old Dominion in Virginia.
Yeah.
I was in the ring for more than 3 hours.
Wow.
The other day I had 5 and 2 were absent. I had 3.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants cell phones and stuff.
Well, that's a lot of the problem these days, is that people are more into themselves and not reaching out into society and environment and the general, you know, activities. Like, I don't know, but I would bet that the Boy Scouts have a smaller membership. That, you know, all
the Girl Scouts, someone recently told me that the Girl Scouts, they are dwindling.
Yeah, right. And
numbers are dwindling.
Right, like 4-H and those organizations. Because that, you know, I think that social media has something to do with it, but I also think that there's other reasons. You know, life is busy for parents, and
they're flying in every direction possible.
Right. There's so much going on in the world today that it's hard, and you have to be dedicated. Taking care of a dog, training a dog, working with an animal, being dedicated to something like this, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of time. And if you get involved with the clubs, forget it. You have no time. You know, so, I mean, I got real serious with this when I was 50, not when I was 20, you know, not when I was 30. I didn't know anything about dog shows. All I knew was that there were dog shows, and there were dogs that were called champions. I had never seen one other than, you know, on TV. And, you know, TV seems like they're not real dogs, right? Not until you go there and you see them and you go, oh my God, that's a real dog. So.
I remember being inspired by Al Kirby.
Oh, yeah. The famous
Al Kirby from Westport.
Right.
And Maurice the Andrade. who had corgis, and they said you should take your dog to a dog show. When I said, yeah, right, and we ended up going, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken people and they, you think a dog show is a simple thing, but you go to a dog show and you don't know what's going on. You have to go a few times to figure it out, what's going on and who's in the ring and what's happening and who won. And
why are they there?
Well, that takes time because you have to learn how to look at a dog, how to evaluate a dog. You say this dog is beautiful, but to somebody on the other end of the TV, they're probably saying it's just another brown dog. It just looks like a regular dog to them, but it's not. It's not. It defines the breed. It describes the breed physically and mentally. This dog is amazing. The temperament on this dog is phenomenal.
How old is he?
16 months.
And he's a grand champion, so that shows you something.
Yeah, right. So that means he's already got his championship, and then went on and has the first degree plus his championship. So now we'll work on his bronze grand championship. And I'm an owner handler, so we also attain owner handler points. Because sometimes in the ring, he'll be awarded best of breed owner handler. Then he goes on to the owner handler group ring and wins points for that. So his mother is a silver owner handled champion and a bronze grand champion. And she's working on her silver grand champion. And so I'm going to take him and her to our national specialty and see if we can get more points on her too while we're there. So that'll be fun.
So for you, it has been a real wonderful journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would not have done it any differently than I've done it. Of course, if I had a lot more money, I'd have a big place and I'd have a few more Ridgebacks. Right now I have 5, and that's enough. My house is, it's 2,700 square feet, but I have the basement is 3/4 of it is kennel. So there's that space too for the kennel, for the dogs and stuff. But I would have a little bit more room if I wanted to have more dogs, I'd have to have more room.
Always though, Ridgebacks. Have you ever thought about another breed?
I have.
What would you like if you had to pick another breed?
Well, if I had to get a small dog, I'd get a wire-haired dachshund. I think they're fantastic.
I love them.
Oh,
love them.
They're the best breed ever. So, and if I wanted to have a dog that was more active, I might get a whippet. But I don't know enough about the whippet exactly, like, do they run away on you? Or, you know what I mean? I don't know the details about the whippet, but I do like the breed. I love the Saluki. That's another one that I would.
So you are basically a hound person.
I am a hound person, yeah. I even like the beagles, except I wouldn't get one because they bark too much for me. But I do love them.
Had one as a kid.
And what'd you think?
Took off constantly.
Yeah, well, that's their nature. They're hunters, So that's why the hunters would take 30 beagles out with them on a hunt because they knew that only 12 would come back. They'd lose the rest of them in the hunt. I'm trying to think what other dog would I like.
Have you shown in Canada at all?
No, I haven't.
That's something new for you.
I know, I've thought about it, but I don't know right now if I would go up to Canada. They might not let me back in the country if I go to Canada.
Have you had any desire to become a judge?
I've thought about it, but it seems like an awful lot of work to become a judge. I've judged sweeps, that's all. And, judging the breed is a ton of work and a ton of money, to do it, to attain the license. I've heard it's a tremendous amount of work. So I probably wouldn't do that. Just being a show chair is enough work for me, believe me. This was a very interesting thing that we did this year by me running the show.
You learn a lot, don't you?
Yeah, you do learn a lot. You do. You learn a real lot.
He is just lounging out here and doing very nicely.
Yeah. I thought we could get him up and show him off a little bit, but he looks like he's pretty good.
Talk about his ridge. Now,
so
it's very important to have this, for this breed, to have that ridge.
Well, in the breed, it's the only disqualification. So if the dog doesn't have a ridge, you can't show him.
Okay.
But as long as he has a ridge, there's no other disqualification in the breed, which is unfortunate because what's happening is the breed is getting too big. Going back to the ridge. The ridge is actually a genetic defect. So, and so breeders want to keep the ridge, breed dogs that have ridges. It's funny because ridgeless dogs, kicking them out of the gene pool isn't always the best approach. And if you bred a ridged dog with a ridgeless dog, or even two ridgeless dogs, it's a possibility that you could still get a ridge. Because just because they don't have the ridge doesn't mean that they don't carry the complement for the ridge. It's a recessive trait, I believe, or maybe it's a dominant. I don't know that much about the genetics, if it's dominant or recessive, but I know that it's pretty unusual to have dogs that never have ridgeless puppies. That is pretty rare. So
well, they're telling me that our half hour is almost coming to an end.
Okay, that was quick.
That was quick. Would you come back?
Sure.
We'd love to have you. You're very interesting.
Oh, well, thank you.
And you've been, and I'd take him home.
He was very boring, though, today, wasn't he? Should I wake him up?
Yeah.
Odin, come here, honey. Stand
There
up.
That's the ridge.
There it is.
There it is.
I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it, yeah.
I don't know if the audience can see it, but come here, baby.
There it is. Well, very good. Thank you very much once again.
You are very
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you again, Deborah, and welcome again to Fur, Fins, and Feathers, and we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.